My name's Hank Savini. I've been tattooing since 1946. That's 70 years. And then I retired for a while and I decided to go back into it. Now I'm tattooing nonprofit, just for charity. I always wondered about tattooing, how long my hand would hold up, you know. My hand's good. I enlisted in the Navy when I was 17 in the Second World War. And from there I went to Chicago to get a tattoo. And this first Death Before Dishonor, yeah. And I forget the guy's name. But that's my first tattoo. I was 17. When I came back home, I found out there's a tattoo artist in Pittsburgh, and Ned Resinol, and I made friends with him, started getting a lot of tattoos from him. And I thought I'd like to do it. I figured I can do it by watching him. So I got some equipment from him and started tattooing. Some old machines that I wish I still had. Yeah, it was a lot different in those days. But the old story is that, you know, there was an arcade there, had an abandoned elevator, and that's where the tattoo artist worked. In an old abandoned elevator. No sink, no plumbing, just a bucket of water. And once in a while he changed it. That bucket of water was when he cleaned his machines in, you know, which was loaded with Lysol. That's the most sterilizing everything got. He cleaned his machine in that bucket of water, in that Lysol. Yes, got the needles in, no, didn't bother to change the needles from tattoo to tattoo. Didn't change paint from tattoo to tattoo. Just had a little cosmetic jar. That's what the paint was in. You had a couple of them different colors. You don't have too many colors. And when you were done, you put the lid back on, use it for the next guy. No gloves, nothing sterile, but no one got infections. But that starts when the episode of AIDS started. That's when people start worrying. Then they clamped down on everybody, and everybody clamped down on themselves, in fact, you know, worrying about AIDS. So, yeah, with another thing that's just so different, too, is that everything you did yourself then, you know, made your own needles, and I made my own tubes. Sometimes some guys made their own machines. I made them, but couldn't make the frames. If I get the frames somewhere, I can make them. So, made our own needles and made your own ink. You just get the pigment, the powdered pigment. J.D. Russell, he was over north side here. He was an old man. I got a tattoo by him, and I think Ned was away then. That's why I went to see Russell. I found out he was over there. And, he was in his 80s. And I never wanted any, I got machines of his, but I didn't buy them from him. I must have got them from Ned, because I got some from Ned, his own machines, and Russell's too. Who else was around? That's about the only guys I know of. I mean, I knew of a lot of guys. See, they were scattered all over the place then. There wasn't too many of them. There was a few. And they were West Coast, East Coast, and in between, a few in between. It must be around the military bases. And Wagner and Nightingale and Captain Coleman but they didn't know each other. Like today, we all know each other because we have a convention to get together and sit and drink beer all night, you know. And the first convention, Dave Yerkou, he had the first convention 1976, 57, I don't know. Way back here. I can't remember. And that's how we got to know each other. Everybody got to meet each other, and I heard your name, I knew your name, and I heard of you, I've seen your tattoo. That's how you know you see other people's tattoos. Where'd you get that? Oh, Captain Coleman. Oh, so you know there was a Captain Coleman doing tattoos in Nightingale, in D.C. I was prowling around one day and I thought I would tattoo myself.
Wow, that's great.
I wanted to put a yin-yang on there. So I put the yin-yang, and little by little I kept on adding to it, all subconscious, just come from wherever it come from. And that's what I wound up with. Yeah, I got my first equipment from Ned. Machines and power supply and so on. He needed some money and he sold me some stuff. Yeah, this shop here I built later, but there's no tattooing around here, you know. Shops you never heard of, tattoo shops. It's just like you go to an arcade, you know, like it's told you about the abandoned elevator. And so little by little, well, first of all, this was outside. I closed this in here and built a little tattoo thing in here. But I started getting a bunch of bikers and it was crowded. So I knocked the wall down that I put up there to close that in. And that was a job because I really put that in there good. And I just extended it and I drew some plans up and I had somebody put the foundation in and the 2x4s and further, and I just built everything myself. I did a lot of work on all this whole house here. So then I started doing a pretty good business. I was booked maybe a couple weeks ahead sometime. Had a waiting room here, it was filled up with. So I had a good business for a while. A lot of bikers. Yeah, I don't know if I tattooed in Bloomfield. I may have. Yeah, that was 1946. I may have done little jobs here and there. But when I moved out here, then I started doing more because I worked in a steel mill and I tattooed some of those guys. And that's when I tattooed on my porch, you know, and in the basement. Oh yeah, I did some tattooing in that basement there when I lived in that one house on Fifth Avenue. Then my son came around with his friends. I dropped it off for a while because there was nothing to do. There wasn't really any business, you know, so I figured, oh, the hell, I didn't tattoo for a good while. Then my son's friends found out that I tattooed, and they wanted him to arrange to get them tattooed. I said, I'm not going to dig all that stuff out now. I don't tattoo anymore. But they kept it up and kept it up. Then it got to the point where they were going to go to California, L.A., because they knew somebody out there, of course. And I said, all right, I'll do them. So I started them, and I started tattooing again. So then I was friends with Nick Bubash. We go way back. We were close friends a long time ago. So he never stopped tattooing. In fact, I had a shop for a while when he was away on vacation. He wanted me to take over his shop, so I took that. Now I think once you tattoo, it just gets in your blood, and it's like an artist. That's your art, and you want to get back into it to express yourself. You know, a lot of these guys today are a lot different than the guys of those days, the old timers. Yeah, I don't have any flash on the walls. All animals. I'd rather have animals on there than all that old flash. That's what I use those loose leaf notebooks for. They can look through them and pick out what they want, and it has a number on it. I go in my files here and pick it out, the drawing and the stencil, copy the drawing and put the drawing up in his clips. So, yeah, I was happy when I first got this built. I had my own shop, but I wasn't on the main drag. No one knew I was here. They had to call me up, you know, and they'd look in a book or some phone book, whatever, I was listed. But they'd go come in the choreographers and see there's a couple other guys around here. They'd see that, and they'd go, well, they'd ask for directions because they couldn't find me. So people would tell them, yeah, there's a tattoo shop down here, and that's where to go. They used to go down to Hawkeye. Hawkeye, yeah, that's me. He told me it was me. So that's the way he is. And he had me dead for a good while. Everybody thought I was dead. I come across other people that were surprised to see me. I thought you were dead. He started a good rumor. That took care of the competition. But after a while, you know, the competition and some people just are irresponsible and they make appointments and don't show up. And I got tired of it, so I just quit again. And I retired. So just recently, I thought it'd be a good way to make some money for some of these animal abuse, you know, and rescues. So that's what I do now. And there's one of them I adopted, my baby. So I start using this for a lot of different purposes. So here's can you see that? This is one of mine. I made this. A lot of them I have are old timers, you know, I got from different places. What you did, you put this on a drawing and you had a handle with a needle in. The needle was like a phonograph needle, the old kind, you know, not the sensitive kind. and you scratched it in there. Either that or you had a scriber, a metal tube, metal rod, and you sharpened it. It was work. It was work. Lots more work than using a Thermofax. Then what you did after you cleaned the skin and everything else and shaved, and just rubbed the charcoal in there and in the grooves and Vaseline it and put on a chest, and the Vaseline would pick up the charcoal. But you had to be careful. You had to start from the bottom, so because once you wipe it off, it's gone. Not like today, you put that on there, it stays on there till almost through the tattoo. So that's, let's see what the old ones look like. I probably have some old ones in here. They're a little yellow, so they're, yeah. A little pussycat, I forgot about that one. These look like mostly mine. I may have to go back to these. I can't believe I made all these. All that work I went through. Of course, I didn't make all at one time, but